Welcome to the Bivouac. This is the game of Parcheesi. Your goal in this game is to get all 4 of your pawns, shown here, from the start center, right here, to the start space, then counterclockwise around the board, eventually up the home strip and into home. First player to get all 4 of their pawns into home wins. On your turn, you're going to first roll the dice and see what happens. I got a 6 and a 1, or 7 in total, but you always play this game as 2 separate dice. A 6 and a 1 does not help me break out of start. I need at least a 5 to break out of start. Say I roll a 1 and a 5. I would instead be able to move one guy out using the 5, and then move him forward 1 space. I could also do it in the way like this. A 4 and 1 equals 5, and so I can move one person out as a 5. If I have somebody in start, I must prioritize getting them out of start before doing anything else. Say I had somebody there and I rolled a 5 and a 6. I would be unable to do this guy forward at 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And ignore the people I have here in start. I would instead have to first move this guy out with a 5. Then go forward 6 spaces with one of them. No 2 pieces of different colors can ever occupy the same space. If this happens, the second player to move on to it, for instance, if I had a thing here, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, moved on to here, I would instead capture the yellow piece, which goes back to their start space, and I would get immediately 20 free spaces of movement. If I'm unable to use all 20 right now in its entirety, I lose it. 2 of your own figures can occupy the same space, and this is considered a blockade. Blockades have some special abilities. First, you or an enemy piece cannot move through them or onto them. And secondly, a rule with blockades is that they are unable to reform a blockade immediately down the line. Let's say I got a 6 and a 6. I cannot go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and reform a new blockade with the same 2 pawns. I could do this later down the line if they had broken up, but not immediately right after. If you ever roll doubles on your turn, for instance double 6s, 2 things can happen depending on how far in the game you are. Immediately you know you're going to be rolling again. You always roll again if you have doubles. But if I have at least one person in home, I instead just use the top 2 faces of the dice, and then roll again. So I would get 2 6s and roll again. But if I have nobody in start, I would instead do something a little bit special. I would also get tops and bottoms. So I get 2 6s and 2 1s at my arsenal to use. When using tops and bottoms, if you are unable to use all 14 movement pieces at once, you do not get anything. You will still roll again, but you do not get any movement at all for that roll. You must be able to use all 4 faces. If you happen to get 3 doubles in a row, so say double 6s, double 2s, double 1s. As soon as I got the double 1s there, instead of getting double 1s, I would actually get nothing. My turn is immediately over, and I must take my pawn, which is closest to my home, but not in home, and put them back in start. You may have noticed a couple of these blue tiles around the board. These are special spaces called safe spaces. If a pawn is on a safe space, they may not be captured by another piece. And, again, you're not allowed to occupy the same tile as another player. So, they will just be unable to move onto it. The one exception in the safe space rule is that if you are on an enemy player's start space, and they roll a 5 to break out somebody, they would eliminate you, even though you are technically on a safe space. When moving around the board and eventually get to your start strip, you must go into your home strip and not continue around. And you need an exact roll to get into home. For instance, if I was here, I need exactly a 3 on at least one of the dice to go 1, 2, 3 and into home. If I move somebody into home, I immediately get 10 spaces of free movement. Again, if I'm unable to use all 10 of those spaces right now, I lose it. The game is over once one player has all 4 of their pawns in home, and they are declared the winner.